Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you taking the time and the curiosity to see what it is that I envision. It was a download to create intentions. It was part of my journey, my awakening. It was kind of a flash vision they showed me if I chose to. Stay committed to doing the inner work, and then the dark night of the soul and the ego deaths and all that. But so a lot of what I'm going to share on this page will just be a lot of tips and tricks and do's and don'ts and things I wish I knew, and just sharing part of my experiences of going into my spiritual journey, the awakening, as they call it, and really. There's a method to this, and I happen to be guided towards a particular school called the Dharma Life Academy with Aloise Sufflet Middleton, and from there, I'm here, and that was a couple of years ago. But it really began. Got some mosquitoes in the rancho here. But it really began a few years prior to that in 2016. And I started doing like spiritual tourism, as my son's mom would call it, because she's really into the modality of healing and guiding and stuff like that. So, but there's a lot of people, part of your circumstances is how deep you can allow yourself to get to allow yourself to heal at soul level. It's a full-time commitment. Everything becomes spirituality. Everything that you do has a meaning. Everything that you do is being divinely guided and set up for you to be the best once you get to a certain level. But as I was going through it, I tried Bufo. I tried different types of meditations and plant medicine, ayahuasca, combo. And then it was in 2020 where I just kind of like hit my bottom, and then I had nowhere else but to tune in. So after all these experiences, which really drove me to be connected to my ancestors, to connect me to my relatives who I passed on, like my mom, my dad, my sister, my grandma, my grandpa, so it gave me a channel to connect to them, to show me that we're never really alone. And after my awakening, and then doing Akashic records, getting my Akashic records cleared, and then doing it again after a couple of months, and then clearing up some baggage. And I joined the academy, and at the academy I went through different modules, and through the modules is all connected and related to the energy center. So you start learning and educating yourself about the energy center, and as you're really committed, and due to my circumstances, we were in the pandemic, and so I went through a separation with my son's mother, and so I had this time which I never had before. But we were in lockdown, and we stayed in Costa Rica because they kept renewing our for 17 months. So anyway, for 17 months, I had all this time because my son wasn't with me every night, but I still got to see him every day. But I had all this time to tune in, to really dig deep, to really get to the root cause of what was hindering me at this level. And so much so that, my life changed completely and drastically, like a 180 flip to the polar opposite of giving my life purpose, and really being guided towards the highest purpose. It's something that feels so real, where my past life of being a fashion designer for over like 17 years, and better part of 20 years before I really got out of the industry. and I'm still dealing and tying up loose ends with that, but I just don't feel called to be in that world anymore. And it was a celebrity limelight, and I gave, like I said, 20 years of my life of doing that, and dressing celebrities and being on TV and having a reality show and doing the top fashion shows and being it was just a crazy vanity type of chase, but we were always divinely guided and not tipping over to the other side, but really being in the forefront of the fashion trend and really, leading by example. And, it was really cool. It was a beautiful experience. But looking back at it now, it just served no purpose but vanity and ego, because it was a false, higher, greater good of the soul's identity. It was a false identity. It was full of drugs and deceiving and all the things that don't represent the higher vibrational frequencies in which I choose to live within now. Like, we really have control over our own personal circumstances, and depending on what they are, you can devote yourself fully, or you can just start exploring until you receive your own aha moment, that perspective, that ideology, that download, that key code, that one little speck of information, whether it's a flash, whether it's just a thought, really implement it in your life. And then you can take that analogy and implement it in different areas once you're done really receiving the lesson and turning that into the blessing, and then experiencing the beautiful attributes that was associated with that block the whole time, that was also in front of you the whole time. So you see how you just start seeing the polar opposite of where your circumstances are. So and for me, while on my hero's journey at the academy, I also fell in love with different other types of modalities, because make no mistake, what we're learning is a modality in itself, to way to look at life and not see it as a depleting, but as an expression and a mirror of what you need to do in order to be and live at the highest timeline possible, all while learning the experiences from your past and guiding you to be the best and in alignment with your future self in the present. So it's really fascinating how you can just gain control and see the different variables, and really believe in the universe as guiding you divinely for your highest purpose. This is big picture things that we're talking about. You can achieve these little goals, these little wins. That's what it's all about, going after the little wins. But it's taking the little wins to get to the big goal. And sometimes those little wins aren't always the beautiful perceptions of rainbows, bubblegum, and unicorns. Sometimes it's a polar opposite, and that's where the ego deaths, and they're really facing your self-judgment, self-loathing, and dismantling the abandonment, the acceptance, self-worth. Like the 4D mindset, the construct in which keeps us depleted and out of the present. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different tools and modalities that I was drawn to while through the academy, and one of them was Reiki. So I became a Reiki master, and then through Reiki, and I was always interested in breathing, and so I became a breatharian coach. And now I started doing the two together, and then implementing some other teachings like QIGong, and then the Akashic records. I'm a qualified practitioner, Akashic records at the Dharma Life Academy. We specialize in karma mastery. If you want to know more about that, just drop me a DM. Just say karma mastery, and I'll send you the information. But the idea is that I just combined all these modalities and then offer clarity for other people that are going through situations that I have experiences in, and then tools. Some of the tools that I'm guided to heal myself on a daily basis, or to share with people that I'm speaking with, are tarot cards. The pendulum is really beautiful. It's like bypassing the ego and going straight to the higher self to get a direct question answered or some guidance. I use other types of crystals associated with the chakra chakra center, guided meditation, breath work, like I mentioned before, distant healing by calling in our spiritual guides and archangels specifically to dismantle and to guide us into self-healing. Remember, guys, I can't do it for you. I'm not going to show up and do it for you. No is someone else. You got to do it yourself. All I can do is provide you with the tools that have assisted me to get me out of where I'm at. I'm just going to get my camera cleaning here. I'm not sure if it's